The first activity, write in the chat any word that's connected to work. So any words that are connected to work, write them in the chat. Okay? Now let's see what everyone says. Okay, so think about the people at work. What do you get if you work? Right? The places. Okay? So let's interact here. So you see, for example, this lady right here, she's at work right now. It looks like she could be working from home, possibly. So she could be working from home, but she is on the computer. Okay, so she seems very happy. What is she working on? A project. She could be working on a project. Very good. So projects are bigger than tasks. So a project has a lot of tasks. Great. Awesome. Okay. Now, here are some quizzes. So write in the comment, I'm going to give you some hints. When you work, right, you give your time, you give your effort, you give your talent. What do you get back? What do you get back, everyone? Okay. So here's some hints. You get it every month or sometimes every week. What do you get back when you work? You earn it. You earn something. All right, good. All right, so think about this. Write it in the chat. What do you make? And with these things, you can buy something. You can buy something if you spend it. But first, you have to earn it. And yes, you're right. You're right. Very good. So it is your salary, right? Money. Okay, so you get a salary, which is money, right? And the people that you work with, let's talk about the people that give you the job. You have the person that gives the job and the person that takes the job or does the job. Great. So you can say employers. The employers give you a job and the employees are the ones that do the work. They are the ones that receive the salary. All right. So this is an important question, and it is, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Okay, so when you say this, what do you do for a living? You are asking about the job, right? So you're asking about the job. You're saying, okay, what is your job? But what is your job is not the best way to ask it. You want to be professional. What do you do for a living? It's very nice. It's elegant. It's beautiful. Okay, so right now I'm going to ask all of you guys here. Okay, I see we have some new people in the chat. So make sure you introduce yourself. Tell me who you are, where you're from, and I'm going to ask you a question here. What do you do for a living? So make sure you can answer this right here. Do you work? Do you study? Do you have your own business? Or are you retired? Okay, here. So talk a little bit. We have two categories. Some people have their own business. It's about 50-50. 50% of people in the chat work. 50% of people in the chat have their own business. So these are the results, everyone. These are the results. Okay, and there you go. What do you do for a living? Okay, there you go. Okay, so very good, everyone. So let's actually more. 66% of people work. All right. So that is amazing. That's amazing, everyone. So let's continue with the next. So of course, you could say, I work, I study, but then you want to give more detail. Okay. And the best way to do that is to say, I'm or I'm, and then your job. Okay. So for example, I'm a teacher. Now, in the chat, write that I'm or I'm un. Okay, so write down here what you do. Okay, I'm a programmer. I'm an engineer. Very good, John. Welcome. John is new here. So John, tell us, where are you from, John? Welcome to the live stream. So I'm an engineer. What type of engineer are you, John? Are you a computer engineer? Are you an industrial engineer? Tell us a little bit more about what you do for a living. Ooh, La France. La France. I love France. It's a fantastic country. So you're you're an engineer. So let's continue here with the next one. All right. When you present yourself, you always say, let me introduce myself. Okay, my name's blah, blah, blah. And the important thing here is I'm, and then the position with the company. Okay, and what this shows is that you are part of the company. So there's a lot of ways you can say, I work for Google, I work for. We're going to talk about that later. But here in this example, it's in this case, I'm David with Monley, or I'm with Monley. Okay, so John, what company are you with? So you're a computer engineer with Google, with a software company, with an app. Tell us a little bit here. Okay, and everyone else here, feel free to interact with us and to let us know, what company are you with? Okay, I'm with Mondly. It's a great company, but I also work for myself. Okay, so let's continue here. All right, so in this one, if you are in an industry, okay, so the industry, it's like the section of the economy, the sector, right? So you would say, I work, I'm in education. Okay, so are you in education? Okay, so first of all, everyone in the chat, what are some industries that people are in? So let's get some examples of industries. Okay, and then we'll come back to this. Hello, Vlad. Welcome, Vlad. So tell everyone here, where are you from, Vlad? And everybody else in the chat, give me a list of industries. What are some industries? Okay, so for example, one industry is education, and I'm in education. I'm a teacher, so I'm in education. Okay, real estate, that's a great one. So real estate, homes, right? We have residential real estate. Oh yes, Romania, Vlad, welcome. So residential real estate, and we have commercial real estate. Okay, so let's see, we have some computer engineers here. If you work with computers, what industry are you in? You are in, it's very, very popular. It's really hot right now. Two letters, but of course it's an acronym. Okay, so what industry is that? You can say computer industry, that's okay, but there's a better one. Okay, so John from France is here. So in French, it'd be like informatique. Yes, IT, you got it. Very good. So Vlad, we're going to get some points here. All right, so if you answer, I'll give you some points just to get everyone motivated. So IT, information technology, right? But we have education, we have finance, we have banking, we have retail. So a lot of different industries here. Okay, absolutely amazing. Now, you could see renewable energy. I'm in politics. I'm in import and export, right? So that's kind of like trading, buying and selling, bringing products in. Import and export is selling products abroad to other countries. Okay. A lot of people say I work in Google. I hear that a lot in my business classes because I'm a professional business English teacher and a professional business English coach. So I help people. And they say, oh, I work in Google. I work in Mercedes. Now, we use in for the industry, but we also use it for the place, right? The place in the company, like the department. I work in the marketing department. Or if it's a part, like let's say someone says, oh, I work in the cafeteria in a school. I work in the cafeteria because it's a place. Okay, so you work for a school, right? You are in education, but you work in the place or in the department. Okay, so for example, we have a lot of IT people here, a lot of engineers. Okay, so let's see. What department do you work in? So do you work in development, or do you do programming? So is it a specific one? Or what department? What department do you work in? Do you work in sales? Okay, what department do you work in? I work in the business English department. Now, I also teach general English and scientific English, but because I studied business. I'm focusing, or, I work in the business English department. Okay. So feel free to let us know here in the chat what department, you work in. Okay, so let's go back to the slide here. Very good. So here you have a lot of great people. They all work in different industries. We have construction. We have law enforcement, the policeman. He's law enforcement. I believe we have a scientist. We have someone who works in retail. Someone who works in hospitality. The waiter right here, he works in hospitality. Hospitality are restaurants. Yes, in the IT department. That's right. So in that department. Now, some companies are IT companies, and they have different departments within that, right? So let us know in the chat if you're a programmer, a business developer, or a product designer, right? Great. And let's continue here. Now, the next one, this one is very, very interesting because you work on a product, right? So for example, this guy right here, if you look at the picture, what are they working on? What do you think they're working on? So you use work on when it's a project or a side of the business or a product, right? So that's what you are doing, the product that you are working on. So look at the picture and what do you think he's working on, right? So let me know in the chat here, what product, what kind of project? I think, is it kind of like an engineering project? It looks like some workflow here. There's some little Post-its there. So we see a lot of Post-its. Okay. And yeah, so it looks to me like they are working on, maybe it looks like a workflow, right? So a management or project management. So they're working on a project management, project. They're working on something that looks very hard. Okay. So if you work in finance, you work on the financial side of the business. Hello, Mari from Spain. It's very good, Mari. Welcome. So Mari, why don't you tell everyone in the chat while we continue here, what do you do for a living? What's your job? What do you do for a living? Okay, we have some computer engineers here. And right now we're talking about project, right? So someone, one of my business students says, I work on the financial side of the business. So they don't work on the product side, they work on the financial side. Question for you, what are you working on at the moment? Okay, so here you want to write, I'm working on, and then something. Okay, I'm working on, I work in HR admin. Okay, good. So you could say I work in HR. I work in human resources. I work in HR. Or you could say I'm an admin. So here I'm an admin, okay, in the HR department. Okay, very good, Mari. Welcome. So you can, there, I wrote it in the chat. You can check the comments there. Hello, Andrea. Welcome. Where are you from, Andrea? So here, everyone, what are you working on? What product are you working on at the moment? What product are you working on? Like the year-end numbers? Are you working on a new application? Oh, Andrea, also from Romania. Welcome. So Andrea, what do you do for a living? Tell everyone in the chat what you're doing, what you do for a living. What's your job? I'm a teacher. I'm an admin in the HR department. Okay. So what are you working on at the moment? Now, I'm working on a project for the international division of our company. Okay. So I'm working on a project for the international division of our company. Okay. You also, oh, wow. Okay. So Andrea is a recruiter. I'm working, okay. I work in HR. So I would say I work in HR, even though it is continuous, we just say I work because it's regular. It's a regular action. I work in HR. I work every day. You work, right? Very good, everyone. Very, very good. So, and you're a recruiter. Fantastic, Andrea. That's awesome. Who do you recruit? So what people are you bringing into the company? Okay, very good. So whenever you get time, you can write, what are you working on? Okay, I work on this. I'm working on a new product. I'm working on a shopping center. For example, I have some engineers, some civil engineers, and they're working on a new shopping mall. All right, here, we want to describe our company. Now, this is a good one because you always want to say we are a or we are a, and then the company. Okay? So for example, we're an education company based in the United States. Oh, I'm recruiting technical profiles. Interesting. Yeah, so technical profiles, you could say that, or just I recruit, so you recruit people. So I wouldn't say profiles. Profiles are kind of like you look for certain profiles, but you recruit technicians, say technicians, or technical people. So you can always say that. Very good. So here say we are a small education company based in the United States. Okay. And we serve students all over the world. Okay. So of course, Mondly is a big education company. It's based in, it's not based in the US, but this is just an example, right? So it's an example and it is, so say we are a company, okay? And describe the company, okay? Describe the company. We are, and then explain it, okay? Explain, describe the company, okay? So you could say, hello, Don, welcome. Welcome, Don, how are you? So Don, right here, we're talking about our companies, how to describe our companies. And we're saying here how we should use, we are a, and then the company, okay? And so, for example, if someone works for Google, they would say, we are a technology platform, right? We are a technology giant, right? And we serve people all over the world, right? Another one here is to work for. So if you see here is work for. Now, when you say work for, it's you're talking about the company. So I work for Apple. I work for Google. I work for Amazon. I work for Tesla. Okay. So Don, here, who do you work for? What organization do you work for? Andrea, who do you work for? Tell me who you work for. Do you work for Google? If you don't want to say the name, and that's okay, you can say I work for and then a small company, or I work for a multinational company based in Italy, based in Romania, based in France. Okay, so who do you work for? Now, I work for myself, but I have a partnership with Mondly. An amazing company, great application. I use it every day to learn languages, and I speak a lot of different languages. So it really helps me. Ooh, I work for a company based in the UK. Very good, Vlad. I work for a company based in the UK. That's awesome. So we're going to talk about when you're saying when the company is from a country, we don't say the company's from the UK. We say it's based in the UK. Very good, Vlad. Very good, everyone. Okay, so maybe Andrea. Okay, very good. So let us know here in the chat whenever you want, tell us, share, and then I will read your comments and offer corrections or ideas on how to say it better, right? How to say it better, how to use top-level English. Okay, now, when you join a company, right, they hire you, they give you the job, right? So we use the expression to join a company. Now, why do we say join a company? We say it because it's very inclusive, right? It's very positive. You join a company. It's much better to use an active voice. I joined the company. He joined us 3 years ago. Now, a question for the chat, everyone. So write down in the chat here, right? When did you join your company? Okay. Tell us here Did you join 2 years ago? Did you join 5 years ago? Did you join a few months ago? So here you want to say, I joined my company, or I joined Mondly, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Okay, that's in my case. I joined Mondly 5 months ago, last summer. When did you join your company? Okay, so tell us here in the chat, write down, when did you join your company? I joined my company, or I joined, you could say the team. You can also join a team. Okay, very good. Now the next one, I joined my company 2 years ago. Oh, good, Vlad. Very good. I joined my company 8 months ago, Andrea. Awesome. That's great. So, here soon, in a few months, you'll be coming up to a year, right? Which is a big milestone. Now, when a lot of people ask me this, and I'm going to show this, a lot of people ask me, how do you ask for a job, right? And that's a great question. Great question, because most people say, oh, well, please give me a job. Please give me a job. Now, tell me in the chat if you think that is the right way to ask for a job. Okay, so tell me, is that a right way? Say, I need money, I need a job, right? If I say, give me a job, or please give me a job, is that a good way to ask for a job, right? And if you can say yes, no, and, explain why that is, okay? Because the thing is, when we ask for a job, we need to sound confident. We need to sound sure of ourselves, but not desperate. So in that case, the best way would be to say, I'd like to join your team. I'd like to join your team. I'd like to join your company. Okay, so this is the best way to ask. If you want to get a job, the best way to ask is, I'd like to join your team. Okay, very good. Hello, Don from Thailand. Very good. So Don, tell us, what do you do for a living? What's your job? What do you do for a living? Okay, so tell us a little bit about that. What do you do for a living? Okay, and now this one involves more like the tasks. Okay, my job involves this function, that function. So the function is not the general. My job involves teaching. So teaching is a little bit too general. I would say my job involves presenting information, right? Right now I'm presenting information. So my job involves presenting information and conducting practical business conversation workshops to business people, right? So that's what my job involves. Now, tell us, everyone in the chat, what does your job involve? The specific things, right? So you say, oh, I work in HR. Well, what does that involve? Does it involve interviewing people, right? Now, if you're a computer engineer, what does your job involve? So does it involve coding? We have some HR people. So does your job involve interviewing candidates or reviewing CVs and applications, right? Or contacting people, or maybe marketing, through LinkedIn, right? Doing some HR on LinkedIn. So what does your job involve? Okay, so that's a very, very good example there. What does your job involve? Okay, and and let us know in the chat the specific job tasks, the specific functions that your job involves. Very good. So my job involves blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Now, next one. This is very, very good. Research. Very, very important. Research. Okay, so let's look at the picture. Who do you see in the picture? You're a programmer, a coder, right? So I can ask you, Vlad, what coding language is your favorite one, or is your specialty? I'm not an expert on different computer languages, but I know there are several of them. So which one is your favorite one? Okay, so it involves writing lots of code. Java, oh, nice. Yeah, I think that's the most common one, I believe. JavaScript is the most common computer language, but you can always correct me. Or maybe HTML, right? Is another one. Great, great. So now the next one, who do you see in the picture here? Like what we see people, what do they do for a living? What do they do for a living? Okay, we have two ladies, and they're wearing white clothes. All right, so what do they do for a living? What's their job? Are they doctors? Maybe doctors. No, yeah. So scientists, they are scientists, right? And scientists need to do research. We don't say make research. We say do research, right? They do research. They find information. They go around and they test things and they find out, right? They get knowledge. They find information. They study data. So here, okay, I'm going to ask you some questions because I'm wondering, okay, how much research do you do in your job? So how much research do you do in your job? So you can answer the question here, how much research do you do in your job? Perfect. All right, everyone. So you can answer this. You could say a lot of research, right? As in you need to find a lot of information. You can also put, some research, like sometimes, like once a week, I have to research a little bit every so often. Very little research, like almost never. Maybe a few times a year, just find some quick information, or no research. Okay. Tell us, everyone, hello, Don. Welcome, Don. How are you, Don? Don from Thailand is here. So Don, see if you can answer the poll. So right now I'm asking everyone, how much research do you have to do in your job? Okay. So Don, did you say, what do you do for a living, Don? Right. Don from Thailand is here in the chat. What do you do? Are you a teacher? Are you a programmer? What are you? Yeah, what do you do? What do you do? Okay, good. All right, so here, how much research do you have to do in your job? That's the poll right here. So Andrea's asking, can I say that I do a lot of research if I'm searching for candidates on LinkedIn? Yeah, exactly. You could do. So research, yeah, that's a good question. So research, technically, it's, maybe a subject matter. So you could say, I'm doing some research on this field. I'm researching this field. I'm researching, but technically, I would say I look for candidates. I look for candidates on LinkedIn, or I recruit candidates on LinkedIn, or I scout. So a lot of people say, like scout or head hunting. So I'm in head hunting, or I head hunt. You can also use that as a verb, right? So head hunting, right? Okay. So a lot of research is necessary. Why is it necessary? Because we live in knowledge economy, information economy, right? And so that is, we need research, we need information. Now, what are you doing research on at the moment? Second point right here. What are you doing research on? So the preposition on is important. And what are you doing research on? You're going to say, what are you researching? What are you researching at the moment? Or what are you doing research on? So an example for me, I'm doing some research on the rising popularity of Spanish as a foreign language in the United States. I realized that Spanish is super hot right now in the US, right? We see all these Spanish songs and all these artists, and the Latin culture is becoming super popular. People want to learn, English speakers want to learn Spanish, right? And there's a lot of money there. There's a lot of interest there. Huge market. And of course, because in the US, we are one of the trend-setting countries, then kind of what happens in the US sometimes, goes to other parts of the world, right? Because it's because of media and because of social media and different networks, we do have that influence, right? So when Spanish becomes popular in the US, it could become popular in other countries. So if you speak Spanish, or if you like Spanish, or if you're from Spain, let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think. This is a dialogue, it's a conversation. So feel free to discuss. You have to chat with me, ask me any question about English, about me, personal, anything you want. Okay? So this is the research, right? What we are talking about here is research, doing research, very important. Now, look at this picture here. All right, so tell me who this person is, right? Do you recognize this person? Do you recognize this man? Okay, so what are some words for him? What's his position in the company? Do you recognize him from a show? Yes, exactly, Vlad. Very good. Very good, Vlad. Awesome. So yes, the boss from the office. The big boss. That's right, Andrea. Awesome. Awesome. He's a big boss. Now, when we want to ask someone, who is the boss? Typically, we don't want to say who's the boss. Who's the boss? Even though he is, it's technically, it's correct. The grammar is correct. The best, most professional expression is to be in charge of, right? So who's in charge of? So I'm in charge of accounting. I'm in charge of sales. I'm in charge of recruiting, right? So, who's in charge of logistics? Who's in charge of your company? Okay. So tell me in the chat, who's in charge, right? Who's the boss? Or maybe if you are the boss, if you are, the leader, you can say, I'm in charge of, and then maybe the team or the department or the project or even the company, right? So who's in charge? Okay. Who's in charge? For example, you say, Mr. Johnson is in charge of sales, right? Elon Musk is in charge of Tesla, right? Well, he's in charge of Twitter also and SpaceX, right? So he's in charge of that. That's the best expression, right? Let me know in the chat here who's in charge of the department, okay? Awesome. So the big boss. All right, so this Vlad said it earlier in the chat, so based in. So people say, where are you from? So I asked Don, hey, Don, where are you from? Don said he's from Thailand. I asked Andrea. Andrea is from Romania, right? Vlad is from the UK, I believe, right? From the UK, or Romania, maybe. Okay, so we have a lot of people say, I'm from the US. So people are from countries, but companies, people are from countries, but companies, you don't say my company is from America or my business is from France. You say my company is based in, all right? So Vlad said earlier that his company is based in the UK, in the United Kingdom, right? So maybe, Andrea, you can talk about your company. Where is your company based? Okay, and Don right here, where is your company based? Okay, everyone, feel free to say, my company is based in, and then the place we are based. And there, the important thing, because base, you have a base, kind of like it's a little bit of a military term. You have a base. But you can also say, oh, I have a base. I have a base in Texas. I have a base in Prague. Right now I live in Prague, so I have a base here, but I also have a base in Texas. I also have a base in Mexico. I have a little place there. So, but, I guess my business is based in Prague, right? Right, because I have a business license here. So I'm based in Prague. Now tell me, where are you based? Where are you based? Right. I'm from Texas. So a lot of companies are based in Texas. So for example, Tesla used to be based in California, right? Everyone loves Tesla because, electric vehicles, good for the environment, nice cars, they're pretty nice. And They used to be based in California. Now Tesla is based in Texas. So you could say, Google is based in California, Silicon Valley. It's like the big tech hub. Tell us, everyone, where are you based? Where is your company based? And it's also a nice way of asking someone, because especially nowadays that people work in different areas, or maybe I'm from a country, but I'm working in a different country or in a different city, right? So it's hard to say, oh, where are you from? I'm from Texas. I was born in Texas. I lived in Texas. I grew up in Texas. But say, where are you based? That's different, because I'm not based in Texas right now. I'm based in Europe. And I've been based here for a while. It says, where are you now? Or where is your business? Where is the home of your business? Because people also travel. We live in a globalized world. You can have a British company, but you work from Asia, from Thailand, and you travel all over the place, but your company is based in a certain country. Okay? So let's continue. This is an important one because there are 3 main activities of a company. Okay, 3 main activities. We have an activity that's producing. You have producers. Then we have service providers. They provide a service. So we have producers, service providers, and traders. Trading is buying and selling. So the main thing here is if you sell a product, or if you create, then you say, we produce this, right? We produce car engines. We produce electric vehicles in the case of Tesla. Now we serve, right? If your business activity is a service, then we say we serve. And then who do you serve? The target audience, right? Or the target, who are you helping? So for example, I serve students from all over the world, right? I'm focused on intermediate students, right? Who want to become advanced students. That's my specialty, because what they say about English here, they say English is a great language. It's a great global language because they say, right, linguists say that learning basic English is quite easy. Like survival English is not difficult. You say, oh, I go, you go, they go. It's, even the past tense for regular verbs, just add an ed at the end. I played, you played, they played, we played. You see, we also don't have declensions or cases, right? Or a lot of languages have cases, so the ending changes a lot. In English, we have less of that. So linguists believe that learning basic English is fairly easy, but learning, advanced English is hard. And a lot of people have trouble getting to the higher levels, not just basic things like, I want that, I need that. Where is the supermarket? That's basic stuff. The harder business English, the technology English, the scientific English, complex ideas, that's a little bit harder. So that's what I specialize in. I serve mostly intermediate to advanced students, but I help everyone. And then, we trade commodities, we trade stock. Oh, Andrea, okay, nice to meet you, Andrea. Come back. We're going to have classes every single day. You're welcome to join us anytime. Good luck at work, Andrea. See you next time. Okay, great. So everyone, what is the main activity of your business? Do you produce something? What do you produce? Who do you serve? Who are your customers? So tell me in the chat right here, we serve, and then, your customers, or we produce, and then the product, right? And if you trade something, if that's your business, then we trade commodities, we trade natural gas, we trade cryptocurrencies, whatever it is that you do, let me know here, okay? Very good. So these are the main activities. Let's continue here. What are the hours like? It talks about the work schedule, the working hours, the shifts, okay? And here we don't use a preposition. So here we say, I work long hours. I work nights. I work regular office hours. So tell me in the chat, everyone, what are the hours like? For you, what are the hours? Remember, it's not do you like your hours? It's what are they like? Long hours, regular hours. Max says, I work regular working hours. Okay, so like 8 to 5. 8 to 5, is that regular? Or 9 to 6? So I guess those are regular office hours or working hours, right? I work flexible hours because I'm a teacher, so it depends. Sometimes I work at night, sometimes I work in the morning. It changes every day. Okay, now here, this question right here is, do you get along with the people you work with? Okay, so when you get along, that means you are on friendly terms. So do you get along? Meaning, are you friendly with the people you work with? Okay, so for example, I get along, or you can say get on. Get on is British, get along is American. They are both correct. So I get on with the people I work with. We all get along just fine. We often go out for drinks after work. Okay? We get along just fine. Means, yeah, we're friendly. They're good people. We get along. So here, let's do another poll. I want to ask you guys if you get along with the people you work with. Okay, so see if you can answer this one. Do you get along with the people you work with? Some people have problems with the people that they work with. They don't like them, or they fight a little bit, or they compete. Right now it's 50-50. Some people get on with them, some people don't. You can always tell me in the chat here, you can write me a message and tell me, why don't you get along with them? Is it because they are not nice, or is it because they are too competitive, or because they are different, maybe age group, and you don't understand them? So it's very good, everyone. So here, these are the results. Okay, these are the results of the poll. Okay, and now the last one. Okay, let's talk about this one. When you talk about the future, this is a great interview question. Where do you see your company in 5, 10, or 20 years? Where do you see your company in 5, 10, or 20 years? Okay, and there you'd say, I see my company dominating a certain sector, or I see my company operating in a lot of different countries. That's another really good one, another good way of saying it. So where do you see your company in the future, in 5 years, in 10 years? And right now, let's have a few questions here before we finish. Here, you can ask me a question. So what questions do you have about this? Anything that you're not sure of, or maybe you have a sentence that you're not sure if it's correct, right? So tell me here, what are your questions? All right, so before we finish, write down your questions here. We're going to have these live streams every day. If this is your first time and you learned something, then definitely come back. I'm going to be with you on Monday, and tomorrow, I believe Mike is going to be with you. Anna's going to be with you on Wednesday. We're going to take turns helping you guys. And we're going to make sure that you'll get a lot of value from this. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. It was great to meet all of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Yes, thank you, Max. Yes, you're welcome. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Okay, so have a great rest of the day. Thank you, John. Very good. And I'll see you soon, and we'll continue learning English. Okay. All right, everyone. Take care and see you next time.